Hey, I'm on the road and thought I'd try to get in a video today visiting my family in North Carolina. I haven't got the accent yet, but I'm working on it. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the interview that I would give if Elon Musk were ever to give me the shot. This is Randy Kirk. If you like this kind of content, please note by liking, by subscribing, you know what to do. So ever since I've started covering Elon Musk, and certainly since the books have been written, I'm always hoping that maybe the opportunity would come where I get a chance to actually do that interview. And I've kind of given up on that hope since there's so many qualified people that have yet to get their interviews. So I think it'll be a long time, but I think I have a completely different take. And maybe you can send a copy of my video to Elon, because I don't think I'd give the same interview as anybody else. And, you know, you be the judge of that, and maybe he can be the judge of that, and maybe that interview will happen. So here it is. Here's the things that I'd want to know if I were to get that interview. So number one, how do you decide, Elon, which information to share and what not to share? For instance, it'd be great as a stockholder, as somebody who follows the Tesla story, who follows you, Elon, the whole thing with the battery, the 4680 battery, knowing how that's doing, knowing more detail, like maybe once a month, getting an update on how progress is going with regard to the manufacture of that battery. That'd be great information to know, but usually it's 3 months or 6 months, and then it's sketchy. We don't really get a lot of information. I don't think it's a competitive issue. I don't think the competition is sitting there waiting to find out how you're doing with the battery. So why not provide more information like that to the stockholders and to the fans? There's a million examples like that I could cite, but that's just one. So what is the difference? How do you decide which stuff to talk about, which stuff not to talk about? Next would be, speaking of batteries, we know that these are the basic building blocks of the future that you see, at least with regard to the Tesla side of things. And we have to guess the meaning of some of the things that you say as opposed to getting the details. So could you provide us once and for all the details of your expectations? Now, maybe this is going to happen on March 1, but if not, what is exactly Tesla's expected production? Are you trying to do 1 terawatt in the United States of in-house production? Are you trying to do another terawatt of production around the world? Is there a 3rd terawatt that you'll be buying from third parties? Is that kind of the breakdown by 2030? So that is kind of what some people think you're saying, but it's kind of maybe changed, and we're just not sure. That'd be great information to have. Is the goal to get other people to make a lot of batteries? And again, this could happen in Master Plan 3. But you're saying you'd like to see 10 terawatts of batteries being made by 2030. How's that going to happen? Are you going to be participating in helping others to make more batteries? There are limitations on raw materials, refining, and the actual battery factories. Again, this might come up March 1st rather, but what are the ways that we can overcome those limitations? And do you think that they are already overcome? Do you think that this is not going to be as hard as everybody's making it out to be? And is 10 terawatts enough by 2030? Okay, then we will go to one of my favorite subjects is Optimus. Where is the Optimus at this point? And again, it'd be a similar kind of question. Why not give us a bi-weekly or a monthly update? You even kind of suggested you might do that. We'd like to see whether the Optimus is walking. We'd like to see whether or not he's doing anything useful. We'd like to see what kinds of issues you're running into. Again, I don't think there's any competition on this at all. So more information on what the holdbacks are, what are the things that are the challenges that you're not able to get over, more detail. What's going on right now with Optimus? And when do you think there will actually be an Optimus line producing robots that will be for sale to the general public? Is because some people are saying 5 years, some people are saying 10 years. I'm saying next year. Help us out. What's the current? What do you really believe? I know you're an optimist about Optimus, but could you give us your theory about when there will actually be production? On a similar subject, maybe one of your biggest announcements ever was Hyperloop, and you said, "Hey, everybody, go out and make your own Hyperloop, and here's the drawings," and nobody's been able to do it. So then I think it was a few months ago that you said, "I guess I'm going to have to take that project back over." So are you actually doing anything on that right now? Is it a Tesla project? Is it a SpaceX project? Who's working on the Hyperloop, and what is the current status? Are we moving towards having a Hyperloop, or is that still many, many, many years away? Or is it been changed because of other transportation things that you think will replace Hyperloop and we won't need Hyperloop? On a similar subject, and this is not a Tesla subject, but with regard to the Boring Company, people like me who think that the Boring Company idea is brilliant are wondering why more cities aren't already doing it. We have a great project in Las Vegas that's showing the opportunity. Why aren't there just dozens and dozens of cities around the country doing that? And my specific question is, why are you pressing for, maybe you are pressing for, getting trucks off the road off the surface street roads and into these tunnels? The 60 freeway in Los Angeles would be a perfect example. The 605 freeway, the 110, 101 would all be freeways that go towards the ports and then take product into the Inland Empire, and they're jammed with trucks. Huge benefit to any area that has this type of truck transportation to get them underground. This would seem, is this something you're working on? Is this something you're hoping for? Is this something in your goal set? Are you talking to leaders about this idea? Okay, then you said that the HVAC, there was another product that seems to be in limbo. You said the HVAC might go into production in 2022. Is that still top of mind, or has HVAC been pushed back? Where are we on HVAC? Is that something we can hope for anytime soon? Do you have any huge ideas that you think are even bigger than Robotaxi, Optimus, Starship, or Starlink? I think those are the four biggest ideas right now. Maybe Dojo would also be a huge major idea that we get to general AI. But is there something in your mind right now that you have not revealed, that you haven't even hinted at, that's even bigger than all of these, or that's on the same level with these? We know that you think bigger than most humans allow their brain to even conceive. But is there something else? Is there some other idea that you're contemplating? Now, this is a personal one. I've been in the bicycle industry my whole life, and of course, e-bikes are huge right now. You have famously said that you would not make a motorcycle ever, but what about a bicycle? Have you considered an e-bike? Do you have, I think you said one time that you have a great idea for an e-bike. Is that something that Tesla would ever undertake? Or is it something that maybe like Hyperloop, you would just say, well, here's my drawings, here's my idea, go ahead and make it. Is there anything happening on the e-bike front? Okay, let's switch over to the future. The future is going to be amazing as a result of products that you are undertaking at this time, and some of the other Cathie Wood type companies that are disrupting medicine and meat production and all kinds of things. So we're looking at this amazing world that's coming very quickly. Do you think about how that looks? Everybody thinks you're a 4D chess player and that you're always thinking about the outcomes and the possibilities of your future acts. Are you thinking about what the world looks like in a world that is dominated by robotaxis and by Optimus robots, and that has virtual reality, and that has doctors on call on your computer screen that actually get home? People are taking their tests at home, and then the doctor can see the test. Do you look at this future and think about what it really means in terms of day-to-day life? And then are you trying to affect that in any way? So there's always a bad distribution of new benefits to the world. The wealthy get them first, of course, and then the middle class, and then finally the poor folks. But there's been a number of cases now in my lifetime where third world countries have been able to leapfrog into the future, so to speak, or at least into the present, and become first world countries like overnight because of all the technology that they didn't have to go through step by step by step to get there. They could go from the Stone Ages all the way to modernity in one step. Do you see that some of your products are going to have that effect? And as they do, or if they do, are you doing anything to direct resources towards some of these poorer countries, or are you just letting the market determine that? How do you feel about all of that? Then as you look at the future and you think about the impact on day-to-day human life in the future, do you think about the negatives? I mean, every single amazing thing has negatives that go with it. Even the cell phone or the smartphone, you know, that is ubiquitous and it's everywhere. The negative is we're all addicted to it now. Between our phones and our laptops, we are on the screens like almost all day long. Do you see negatives happening as a result of the switch to electrification? Are you anticipating any of those things? I know you saw the negatives with regard to artificial intelligence, and you started an entire company in order to kind of deal with that. Now you've seen that this company has gone into retail products, and you're worried, I think, still worried about AI. Are you worried about any of the other things, the robotaxis or the Optimus robots, or some of the other things that you are a part of bringing to the world? Are you thinking about the negative impacts and what those might be? You've also talked about the future in terms of possibly having to have some kind of a minimum amount of money that people would be paid, because there wouldn't be enough jobs and there wouldn't be enough purpose in the world. Are you still thinking that's going to be true? As I look at history, every single time there's been massive disruptions of jobs, like farmers and like clerks and like factory workers, and more recently bank tellers and some of these other jobs, secretaries, that were the #1 jobs that humans had. Those jobs were almost virtually completely eliminated. And yet we have 3.4% unemployment in the United States. So do you see that as the future, as these new technologies come on board, that new, better jobs take their place and we continue to have extremely low unemployment? Or do you think that we have a future where people will wonder what they are going to do with themselves because there's just nothing left for humans to do? Which one of those do you see as the future? And what part might you have in helping philosophically as we go into that kind of future, if in fact we're going to be in a WALL-E type world? Okay, so yeah, so I see here, I got a couple more. You've also talked a lot about the transition as we go into electric, and most energy will be produced by solar, wind combined with batteries. We'll still have, of course, hydro and geothermal and some of these other ones. You've recommended, of course, over and over and over again, that we stay in the nuclear. And you've said, hey, we still need to produce oil and gas, natural gas, because there's just not going to be enough energy yet from wind and solar. When do you see peak oil? Do you see peak oil happening anytime soon? Or do you think that oil and natural gas, being much better than coal and wood, charcoal and dung, since those are much better for the environment, oil and natural gas are better for the environment than those, do you think that we should be producing maximum, just going all out to produce those, at least until the market shows us that we don't need as much anymore? And do you see that happening in the near term, or is that a long way out? Are we getting close to peak oil? Are we getting close to peak natural gas? And nuclear, are we going to need nuclear for the next 50 years or only 25 years? How do you see all that working out? You're also, obviously, you're a big proponent of free speech. You went as far as to overpay for Twitter in order to make sure that free speech was happening to the best amount possible. And so is there any chance that, are you having any other impact on free speech other than Twitter? Do you see anything that needs to be done to even get people to understand what free speech even means? because I think there's a lot of confusion right now about what free speech means and what the benefits are of free speech. Some people seem to think that they need to damp down any kind of speech that they don't agree with. So how are you going to have any impact, do you think, on redefining and making sure that the world understands what free speech is and why it matters? And then finally, this is a question about Tesla. Tesla is now a conglomerate with 80–90% of revenues and profits coming from cars. Do you see a time in the future when you'll need to spin off some of these smaller divisions in order for the stockholders to get full value? Or do you think that Tesla will continue to grow as a conglomerate and stay together as one company? So those are my questions. If you like this kind of content, please like. If you have your own questions that you would like to ask Elon, please put those in the comments below. Did you think any of my questions were messed up, wrong, or you would have worded them differently? Please put those in the comments as well. Hey, it's been great talking to you today.